Awesome. All right, let's talk about the clutter clearing game. So, some of you, who read my newsletter last week or saw some of my posts online, I love the beginning of the month because it's an opportunity for another whole round of the clutter clearing game. And I'll briefly tell you what that is in case you're not familiar with it. It's as easy as this. So, at the start of the month, you find one item to get rid of that corresponds to the date of the month. So June 1st, 1 item. June 2nd, 2 items. June 3rd, 3 items. And so on. Hey, Michelle. Hello. So it's a really kind of a fun way, and I know, believe me, I know I'm an anomaly in that I love to get rid of stuff and downsize. But this can be kind of like a fun way to get rid of stuff that is just draining you, bringing you down. So whatever the date is, so for instance, today's June 5th, you want to identify 5 things that you can get rid of or eliminate. So today I have 5 magazines that I'm recycling, and by that I mean I put it up on a free cycle group and someone local is excited to have them, so I'm going to pass them on to them. So those were my 5 items from today. So it can be anything. You want to be kind of strategic about it because, as you can imagine, as the month goes on, come day 28, when you're trying to look for 28 things to get rid of, you just want to be creative. So, day 28 might be the day that you get rid of pens, or old socks, or kitchen utensils, or rubber bands that are like in a junk drawer. You can be creative about how to do this, because that's the couple things that I find people resist about the clutter clearing game is the days that are later in the month when you have to come up with a lot of things to get rid of. And also, for instance, if this is the first time you're hearing about the game, you might be telling yourself, well, it's not the 1st of June, so I guess I can't participate. Not true. Not true. You can start today. You got 2 choices for today. You can just start today and start with 5 things. Or, if you're very ambitious, you can start today and make up for lost time. So you'll have to get rid of 5, 9, 12, 14, 15 items today to catch up. You don't have to catch up, but if you wanted to, that's how many items you'd need to accumulate today to get caught up. If you are able to get caught up, or you do this game from the beginning of a 30-day month, by the end of the month you end up eliminating 465 things from your home or from your life. I mean, how great is that? It can be 10 emails that you delete. That's another great one for later in the month, is if you want to get rid of a bunch of emails that have been sitting there. But you can get rid of 465 things in a 30-day month. Now, the next thought you probably have is, I don't even know if I have 465 things to get rid of. Yeah, you do. I'm telling you, you do. The average American household, at least, and I'm sure this applies to other countries as well, but the average American household has 300,000 items in it. 300,000. You heard me. I didn't say 3. I didn't say 3,000. I said 300,000 items. Now you're thinking, there's no way I have 300,000 items in my house. Think about it. Count every, hair clip, paper clip, pen, pencil, penny, nickel, whatever it is. That's a lot of stuff, right? So don't give me this, I don't have 465 things to get rid of, because I don't believe it. It's just kind of like a fun little way to be like, oh, it's June 5th. What are 5 things I can get rid of today? It helps you to look at your things in a new way. Yeah, Leah Marie, I definitely do. Yeah, so she definitely has 400. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. You'd be surprised how fast you can collect those many things to get rid of. And when you really get into it, like this daily challenge, it helps you to look at the things in your life differently. Because we tend to just, everything becomes part of the background scenery, right? When you, wherever you're sitting right now, I want you to pause and look around the room that you're in. Just take a very slow, intentional glance around. Notice every picture, every knick-knack, every stack of paper. I'm looking around and I've got a stapler and a tape dispenser. I've got artwork on the wall. I have a post-it on the wall. I've got a container of pens and markers. I've got a flat iron. Like, look around the room that you're in right now with fresh, new eyes. Don't scan it quickly and just make the things be part of the background scenery. Like, really look around and identify the things that are in your space. And I bet, just even sitting where you're at and looking around, I bet you could identify at least 1, 2, or 3 items that you're like, you know, I could probably get rid of that. Yeah, I mean, it's so cool to just, yeah, Sarah, to see things differently. Started to notice the smallest things. Yeah, I mean, we get so used to seeing the stuff in our environment that we don't pause to think, is that something that I truly love or that brings me joy? Or is that something that deserves a spot in my life? We have a finite amount of space, energy, and time. So anything that is worthy enough to be in your possession, you really need to look at that. Hey, Christine, welcome. You really need to look like, does this item deserve to be in my life, or is it weighing me down? You know, I listened to a friend of mine sent me a video, this little clip of this guy talking, and he was talking about, you know, the benefits of owning less and desiring less, and he said this quote that really stuck with me. He said, "Warriors travel light." And I love that. Like, when I think about, like, I want to be a warrior. I want, like, when I think I want to be a spiritual warrior in my life. I want to be, like, a lifestyle warrior. I want to live intentionally. I want to live consciously. And I love that whole idea of warriors travel light. Like, if you think about, if you needed to pick up and go right now in a moment's notice, imagine how much easier that would be if you didn't have a whole bunch of stuff, unnecessary stuff. So when I think about that, like, warriors travel light, and I just get this vision in my mind of someone who can really just live life to the fullest because they don't have a bunch of stuff weighing them down. You know, it's kind of like, well, I want to do this, but I'd have to find someone to house it and water my plants and feed my animals. And, like, I'm not saying get rid of your plants and your animals, but if you think about all of the things in your life that you already have to tend to and take care of, why add unnecessary stuff to it? Or, you know, as morbid of a thought as this is, think about if something were to happen and you were to pass away. Think of the items and the things that people would have to go through, and, you know, is that something that you want to leave for people? Or just even, would there be anything that you're embarrassed that people are going through? You know, so keep that kind of mantra in your head, like, warriors travel light. How lightly am I traveling? And look around your space. So the clutter clearing game is an awesome opportunity to get rid of stuff that isn't providing value, isn't adding value to your life, isn't, that you don't love, that doesn't bring you joy, anything like that. Kathy, when you get to the higher months, does it have to be all of the same type of item? Movies, CDs? No, absolutely not. That's just kind of an easier way to handle the higher months. But no, absolutely not. You know, I at the beginning of this month, I mean, it can be random stuff. You just want to accumulate the same number that corresponds to the day of the month. So it can be all the same things. It can be different things. The whole goal is to just get rid of stuff. You know, I was just this past weekend, I was helping Melissa. She was running a yard sale for a client of hers. Yard sale, tag sale, garage sale, whatever you call it, depending on where you are in the world. And, you know, I was just helping her get things set up and, you know, put things out on tables and pricing things. And I looked at all of this stuff that the client was getting rid of. And on one hand, I was like, I'm so grateful that all this stuff isn't mine. But, you know, in talking with the homeowner whose stuff this is, like, I would hear her say things throughout the day, like, yeah, you know, I don't know why I keep this. I just keep it. I don't really know why. And it's like, well, think about that. Like, why do you keep it? Like, don't stop that thought there. You know, why keep it? So if you think about, if you were to have a yard sale, tag sale, garage sale, what would you put out at your yard sale? That thinking can also help you collect the number of things that you need for the day of that clutter game. Sarah, Kathy, I got rid of 2 earrings without partners. Perfect. June 2nd, 2 earrings Sarah got rid of. It's exactly it. So if you think about it that way, if you think about, okay, if I were having a yard sale tomorrow or this weekend, let me go through my house with that mentality. What would I be willing, or what would I want to sell, be willing to sell at my yard sale? And sometimes that can motivate us a little bit, because we might think, well, I can make some money off this. If you're willing to try selling it to make some money, then you're willing to just get rid of it. So when I say to collect things in the clutter clearing game, you can do, one of several things with the items. I suggest when you do it, just for ease, to put a box or a bag that, somewhere in your house that's like the donation bag or donation box. That can be where you assemble your items for the month. And then at the end of the month, I would like you to get rid of it immediately because we don't want it to hang around. But if you come across something that you're like, well, I think this is kind of valuable, I don't necessarily want to just throw it into a donation box, I might want to try to sell it, you can certainly do that. Or this is really more trash than it is donation. Or I know someone who would love this, I'm going to see if they want it. There's lots of different ways that you can dispose of things. There's so many donation centers that make it really easy, whether you have a Savers, Goodwill, a local thrift shop. I love supporting the local thrift shops because the money goes right back into my community. There are organizations. If you go to donationtown.com, I think it is, you can find an organization geographically near you that will come and pick up donations. I think it's .com. Melissa, can you check that? So, Kathy, I've done recycling, set aside books to donate, and Wii games so far. It's much more fun than I anticipated, right? I look forward to finding new things every day. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Kathy. Like, that's that kind of excitement you can get. It's like, this is kind of fun to find new things. And then, the kind of really cool ways that you can look at getting rid of stuff, like for video games or CDs or DVDs. I think those are the 3 main categories. There's a website and an app called Decluttr, and it's without the E, so it's DECLUTTR, and it's this really cool, well, I love the app. I have the app on my phone, and if I'm getting rid of DVDs, or, hey, Annie, you forgot to tag Annie.
No, I didn't.
Oh, nice. If you want to get rid of like Wii games, DVDs, CDs, you can put the app on your phone and you can just scan the barcode on the item, and Decluttr will tell you how much money it will give you for it. I think, yeah, even VHS actually, Kathy, it does VHS as well. And as long as you have enough to warrant like a $15 check, then they will send you a free shipping label. You put all of your stuff in a box, you put the label on the box that they emailed you, and you bring it to your local shipping center. It gets mailed off for free, and like 2 weeks later you get a check. So it's like, that's really easy if you want to sell CDs, DVDs, video games, VHS. The app is just really kind of fun to use. I'm kind of a decluttering dork, but it's a fun little app to use. Like, it's as easy as scanning a barcode. It cannot make it easier. So Liam Marie, you can check with Mike and see if he's ready to get rid of some video games or movies. You can make some dough. So it's fun to do that. So not only like is it fun to collect things and figure out what you want to get rid of, but then you can also look at, what would be some creative ways to get rid of this stuff, like the magazines I love to pass on to someone else in the community, or you can check with a local doctor's office or a hair salon if they need some different magazines. Your local library, mine at least, has a rack that you can put a few magazines. Your gym, your fitness center. But again, if finding a place to send the items feels like a lot of work to you, don't even worry about that. Your first concern is to just collect the stuff, and you can send it all off to donation. Doesn't matter. My number one rule of thumb, and I would hope that you all will adopt this as well, is your absolute last resort is the trash can. It's donate, sell, recycle, give away, not trash. The landfills, I mean, really. Someone's got to care about the planet, right? That's all I'm going to say. Someone's got to care about the planet. So please, just like let the trash can be the last resort. Believe me, I know you're going to find some things that are trash. But let that be your last resort. There's lots of great recycling programs, donation centers. You can share stuff. Like I remember my niece Leah Marie, who's in the conversation here. This was years back. She got her very first apartment, and of course, needed furniture and stuff. And so I told her, I'm like, come to my house, and you can go shopping in my basement. I had accumulated some things that I no longer wanted, but just didn't take it off to recycling yet. And so I said to her, you can come shop in my basement. And so, for her first apartment, I think she took like a coffee table and an end table and a chair, some artwork for her walls, silverware, stuff like that. So I was just going to send that off to donation anyway, but now I was able to pass it on to my niece and help her with her first apartment. So it was like, it felt great for me, it was helpful for her, and nothing ended up in the landfill. So yeah, we had so many used furniture in that apartment. You got donations from lots of different people, and that's what's kind of cool with your first apartment, right? It doesn't have to be like this chic, designer adorned place, but you can have beautiful pieces from people who just don't need it anymore. And now in my house, as I look, everything, it's all used. Yeah, and I think that's great. Like, it's totally functional as long as, you like it. For me, like if I were in your shoes, I would love looking at the things and thinking about where they came from. To whether they came from a loved one, or I got it for a great deal from someone in town who was selling it on a yard sale group. Without getting on a total soapbox here, there is so much stuff in our world right now. We don't need to keep buying new. We have so much available to us. I love like consignment shops and secondhand stores, and because there's some beautiful stuff. Melissa and I lately have been going to estate sales to find things that might work in the tiny house. Not a lot of stuff, obviously, but we're like, why go and buy new when there's beautiful stuff that people just are done with or have outgrown or don't need anymore? There's so much stuff already circulating in this world. Why not use it? So, and then another thing to think about, this is kind of yeah, Christine, that's totally true too. Older things are usually better quality. That is so true. Everything is like, well, kind of like fast fashion, like I think I've talked about before. The clothes, and you go to like, I'm not knocking these stores, but when you go to like H&M or Kohl's or the fast fashion stores, it lasts you maybe like a season because it's just such crap that it's not quality materials, not to mention the conditions under which they're made. Another whole soapbox item. But yeah, when you get something like a dining room table like Leah Marie's talking about, our dining room table in Hutch is from the 1920s, passed down to us, that an estate sale was selling for $100. Like, you got a beautiful, beautiful dining room set for $100. And it's such, I know your set, it's beautiful, and it's quality, and it's solid. And just like you're saying, Leah Marie, to think about the people who have sat around that table, and the stories that have been shared, and the meals that have been shared, and the memories that have been created. Like, there's so much beautiful energy in that furniture, and now you get to add to it. So I just think it's really beautiful. And I'm not one. I'm someone whose style is modern and contemporary, clean lines. So I'm not like an antique person, but I love that there is beautiful stuff out there in great condition that has a lot of life left in it. Yeah, and I just love the the energy of other people that come with it too. Kathy, I have things from my Grammy and great aunt. My cutlery is from 1913. Like, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So when you're thinking about another aspect of the clutter clearing game, and this is something that is, it can be during the game, but it can also be after the game, to help maintain the lower inventory that you have now successfully accomplished by getting rid of your 465 things. Be thinking about, try to get into the habit of one in, one out. So when you bring something new into your life, something old goes. Like, what was the example you just said the other day, Melissa?
My bras.
Oh yeah, Melissa just bought new bras. There you go.
Thanks for sharing.
Sorry. You could have lied and said shirt or something. But anyway, actually we both did. So we went bra shopping yesterday. And it was so great to be like, okay, now we each have some new bras. We can get rid of the old ones. So it's like new ones in, old ones out. You go shopping, you buy a new shirt, or you buy a quality pair of pants. Those come in, other old ones go out. So anything that you bring in, if you, of course, this is people don't like when I say this, but bring a book in, a book goes out. But I love the one in, one out. Amy, I do that with barbecue. I'm guessing that's a typo. With the kids. With the barbecue. With the kids and stuffed animals. Yeah, one in, one out. Awesome. Love it. Yeah, I mean, it's such a nice way. It's a nice way to maintain a lower inventory of stuff. And it's kind of fun. Like, I just think I feel less guilty when I bring stuff in, because it's like I'm bringing one thing in, one thing's going out. It's replacing something. Yeah. Yeah, one kid in, one kid out. Yeah, Kathy. I thought I missed a comment from Christine. No? No, I thought I missed it. Okay. Yeah. One kid in, one kid out. But yes, that's a great way to maintain that lower inventory of things. If you really think about, and this, I know this term scares a lot of people, but if you think about the whole idea of minimalism, term used to scare me, because I picture a minimalist as someone who is, sitting in a room with blank walls, with nothing personal or warm in their environment, who wear the same thing every single day, eats the same thing every single day. But you can define minimalism for yourself. How I define minimalism is having only those items as best you can that you love, need, or want. Like love, need, or use. That you truly do love, need, or use. You'd be surprised at how little that translates to. Certainly as I look around my house right now, there are things that I can absolutely eliminate. And I will during the clutter clearing game of June. I don't love, need, or use everything that is in my vision right now. It doesn't mean that you have to completely empty out your space. Yeah, Christine, the favorites you always reach for. Like, just like the whole 80-20 rule, right? Like in your wardrobe, you wear 20% of your wardrobe 80% of the time. That's why something like a capsule wardrobe is I think such a great idea. And actually, I'm going to put something in the comments, so I'm typing to find it right now, because I'm not even sure the name to tell you to do it, Melissa. Okay. Yes, it's called Project 333. I'm going to put a link in right now. It's a minimalist fashion challenge, so you can add this. Invites you to dress with 33 items or less for 3 months. Before you freak out, settle down. It's gonna be okay. I'm putting it in there. Oh wait, I just saw Tara's comment. Just caught up and added clothes to a trash bag to donate. Yeah, Tara! That's awesome! So good. Love it. Yeah, so Project 333. It's a fashion challenge, and it's this woman Courtney, and I really like her articles. BeMoreWithLess.com. So if you can read all about it on that page, but she writes about dressing with less and how it was for her to challenge herself to only dress with 33 items for 3 months. And I remember a couple, and that includes clothing, accessories, jewelry, outerwear, and shoes. I know, right? Crazy. But to just try it, even if you tried it for a month. And it was funny because I think on her site or on that Project 333 page, she talks about how she wore the same handful of things for like a long time and no one even noticed. You know, we're so concerned of, like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I can't wear that to Christmas. I wore that last year. Like, who the hell's going to remember besides me? So, yeah, I just think about, like, you know, when you think about people like Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs, God rest his soul, lots of people who just wear the same things. They have more important things that they want to think about in their life than what outfit am I going to put together today. Now, that's not to say, like, if you're someone who really feels good in fashionable clothing or, you know, your clothes are a real expression of who you are, you absolutely can have items that really kind of convey who you are, but I bet you don't need 100 items. You can probably try the 33. I'd have to add to my wardrobe so few clothes. All right, Kathy has even less. Good, stick with that. Christine, if you go on a long trip vacation, you realize you can live with just those items you packed or took with you. Oh my God, that is so true, Christine. Yeah, Melissa's right. So when Melissa and I went to Belize, we went in February a couple years back, and I wanted to only take a carry-on. We both did. We're like, we don't want to check bags. We don't want to deal with, like, waiting for the bags. We don't want to risk it getting lost. We were going for 10 days. And so I'm like, how am I going to just have a carry-on? We each had a carry-on and a backpack, and that was it. Now, in the past, I would have packed like crazy. I might want to wear this. I might want to wear that. Like, I remember when we went to Italy for our 40th birthdays, I packed like this pretty dress and heels. Never even touched it. It's like, it just wasn't a fit for where we were. So we went to Belize, only a carry-on and backpack, and we had a cooler that came with our rental car. I know, crazy, it was weird. But that cooler ended up being our washing machine. So as we needed, which I don't think was terribly often, you know, a couple times Melissa's in the bathroom. We brought a little travel laundry detergent, and Melissa's in the bathroom with the laundry in the cooler, you know, washing them in the cooler, shaking it around to give it like a spin cycle or a wash cycle. And then, you know, Melissa being, well, not that you guys know Melissa, but you're getting to know her. Melissa being Melissa brought like a rope with us that she strung up in our room and hung up our clothes to dry. So it was awesome to travel with just what we needed. I didn't miss anything because what I would have want to have worn were the things that were dirty. So even bringing just a carry-on and a backpack, I think there were still about 2, maybe 3 items I brought that I didn't wear. So you don't need a whole lot. And so, and Christine, you're absolutely right. Like, when you go on vacation and you're forced to be very strategic and methodical about what you pack, it can be so much, it's such an eye-opener to go, oh my God, here I am back at home with this huge closet full of stuff, full of clothes, and I was totally fine for 10 days in Belize with these particular items. Now, that doesn't mean I could live with just those items back at home. I mean, I'm in Belize, and it's hot. So, you know, shorts and t-shirts, again, made it easier to fit things in a carry-on. So I certainly couldn't live in New England with only shorts and t-shirts, but I think about, like, when you go, like Christine was saying, reach for your favorites. Like, when you go to throw on a pair of jeans, my guess is you probably reach for 1 or 2 of all of your jeans. So why have the other 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 pairs, right? If you're always reaching for the same pair and the only time you reach for a different pair is when your favorite is dirty, you don't need a whole bunch. You don't need 20 pairs of jeans, you know? So, anyway, a little bit of a tangent, a little bit related. So, the clutter clearing game is just that. Wait, what did Annie say? I gotta see.
Oh, very funny.
What'd she say? It's not showing up on my thing.
She said, next time bring a small scrub board like Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, nice. Andy, next time bring a small scrub board like Little House on the Prairie. You know, it's funny. At an estate sale, I saw a little scrub board, and I almost said we should get that. I know. You know, my family used to call me a princess, and then Melissa happened. Yeah. And suddenly I'm using a washboard in a cooler in Belize. Ziplining through the jungle. Who am I? Anyway, circling back to the clutter clearing. Can you tell I'm like distracted by the swing in the back of my hair? Keep trying to pat it down. Oh, I think I found. No, I was gonna say I think I finally got it. Look at that. How annoying is that? I digress. Got a little ADD. That's why you guys love me. Anyway, clutter clearing game. So, number of days corresponds to the number of items you get rid of. So I want to hear in the comments section, today is the 5th of June. If you haven't already, or even if you have, what 5 items will you get rid of today? Or will you add to your donation box? Or will you add to your donation bag? What 5 items are you getting rid of? Melissa, what 5 items are you getting rid of? I don't think we've heard from Melissa, have we? I don't think so. So I would like to know what 5 things Melissa's getting rid of. How many bras did you get rid of? Kathy, I have one from my great aunt. See, yeah. Yes, 2 pairs of jeans, Sarah. See? William Marie got rid of 5 junk emails. Perfect. You can get rid of emails. It can be physical items, like whatever it is. CDs I haven't listened to in a while. Awesome, Kathy. Melissa, 2 came in, 2 went out. William Marie unsubscribed. Nice. No one unsubscribed from my emails. Everyone else has been on mine. The jeans, definitely. I have a drawer bursting with jeans and wear so few of them. All right, Christine. Can you do 5 pairs of jeans today, or is that crazy? Is that unrealistic? Melissa, that's still not 5 things for today. What you got? Come on. All right. Yes, all right. Christine's in for 5 pairs of jeans. Going bye-bye. If you have a consignment shop near you, like depending, like if they're really like good quality jeans, you could consign them. You know, when we lived in Newburyport, there was a consignment shop there. It was just so easy. Once I set up an account there, which took all of 5 minutes, I could just drop off a bag, had my name and my email address tucked in the bag with my items, and they just consigned it for me. I think they kept 40%, I got 60%, something like that. Might be the reverse. I didn't care. And whatever they didn't sell, they just donated, which was perfect. So if they're great jeans, you could consign them, or you could just donate them. 5 bathing suits. Awesome, Trish. 5 old documents off my computer. Love that, Kim. Get rid of that stuff. Amy, I gathered 5 pocketbooks, and I'm planning on selling at my yard sale. Perfect. Yeah, pocketbooks. That's a good one, Amy. Like, I think a lot of us have a lot of purses. Is Michelle still on the call? But Michelle has beautiful purses, but I bet you there's a lot. Or Mom, I bet you have a lot of purses too. You could choose 5 to say goodbye to. Christine, I have a consignment shop a block away, and if that doesn't work, the drop is another block away. Perfect, Christine. So you might want to have the bag handy and just like accumulate. You might have a bunch of clothes you can accumulate, drop it off at the consignment shop at the end of the month. Melissa, I've played this game so many times my options are limited. That's fair. I know. I don't know that I truly, and I know I said, you know, everyone has 465 things. I really don't believe I have that many to get rid of just because I have played this game so many times. But when you think of computer stuff, Melissa, I bet,
Oh yeah.
you know, you could get rid of 5 emails or something like that. Michelle, I have a bucket of candles and candle holders in my counter to donate. Perfect. Love that. One warning from someone who might know a little bit about it. Make sure if for any reason the temperature goes up, Get the candles out of your car. Mine melted all over my car seat once. Yeah, that's awesome. Love it. Hey, Kristen, welcome. Yeah, so 5 things to get rid of today. Start thinking as you're collecting your 5 things, if you haven't already, think about what's going to make the list for 6 tomorrow. Yeah, what's going to do that? Why does Christine's stuff sometimes show up? Oh, I could save the jeans for a higher number. What does the rest say, Melissa?
Maybe LOL, maybe 5 pairs of running socks.
Ah, okay. Oh, good, Christine. Okay, if you have that many jeans. And you can mix and match. You can do like 1 pair of jeans. Hey, Mary. You can do 1 pair of jeans and 4 pairs of running socks. Like, it doesn't all have to be the same thing. So you just want it to be 5 things. So if you find that on day 8 you're struggling to come up, you only have 6 things, grab a couple pairs of jeans. Like, whatever you need to use to make that number, it's just great. So, to spend just a couple minutes before we wrap up here to talk about the benefit. Once you remove these items from your life, this is the most important part of clearing clutter, is the benefit that comes after. So the space that you've created in your life, the stale energy that you have stirred up now, you have created momentum and energy and space for things in life to be easier, for gifts and opportunities to come your way. This is when you'll notice coincidences happening, like, oh my God, I was just thinking about that, and there a flyer came in the mail about it. That kind of stuff happens when you can clear enough clutter and enough noise in your life that you can start to recognize this stuff. So the other, aside from the clutter clearing game being kind of fun, as like a treasure hunt every day to find things to match that date, you also get to look and listen for cool things that happen. Maybe something you thought was going to be a real pain in the butt ended up being kind of easy to do. Or, a project at work was easier, or you got a new client, or whatever it is. You dropped an extra pound that week that you weren't expecting. This stuff can absolutely happen from clearing your clutter. It's not magic or woo-woo. It really is science. Like, the whole world is an energetic conversation. You've heard me say that a lot. When you get into the flow of that conversation, you're inviting conversation in from the universe. And so that's when you feel like you're in the flow. Those times when you're like, I feel like I'm just totally in the flow here. It's because you're in the dance, you're taking action. The great thing about clearing clutter is you don't have to get it all done to reap the rewards. You just have to get started. That's why, the other reason why I love the clutter clearing game is it can literally be 1 item on day 1, 2 items on day 2, and you will already feel the impact, benefits, and effects of getting rid of some stuff. You will feel that kind of relief of the finish line, even though you've just started. That's the powerful thing with clutter. There is immediate gratification just by getting started. So just get started. Yeah, small things to start. That's why I love this game so much, because it encourages you to start small. 1 thing, 2 thing, 3 things, and then as you gain some traction, gain some momentum, then you're into 15 things, 16 things. And again, when you get up to those higher numbers, save that for emails or pens or socks or things like that are easy to add up to that number. So that is the clutter clearing game. It's fun. I know, so it just allows you to think differently about clutter. So would love it. Keep me posted on how things are going. You can come back to this video and comment. You can post something on my Facebook wall, facebook.com/CarrieCoach, where you go to find this video. Like, I want to hear how you're doing with the clutter clearing game. What are you getting rid of? What 6 things will you get rid of tomorrow? It does, Kathy. It affects all areas of our life.
Take pics.
Yeah, if you want to like take pictures, like before and after pictures, or share pictures of your donation box. Maybe now when it only has 1, 2, or 3 things in it, and then at the end of the month it might have like 400 things in it. It'd be fun to share some pictures too. Annie, how do you get rid of clutter that has so many memories but is not usable? Yeah, that's a tough one. It can be tough to get rid of clutter that you have emotional ties to. But if it's not usable, and by usable, if it's something that has memories tied to it and that you love it, if you love it enough, you'd be displaying it or using it. If you're keeping it just because it has memories attached to it, but it's like tucked in a box or put in the basement, then it's not that important in your life. And actually, when you get rid of something that has memories attached to it, this is really important to remember. Most people don't think about this. You're not getting rid of the memories, you're just getting rid of the item. The memory stays with you. That item is just kind of like a reminder or a trigger to help you remember that memory, but that memory is always a part of you. You don't need the item. But if you love the item, then display it or use it. If you don't love it, then pass it on to somebody else or donate it. Someone else is going to find that to be such a treasure, and they're going to use it or display it. So ask if someone else wants it, pass it on to somebody else. Don't feel bad if they say no thank you. That's why sometimes I just love to donate stuff, because I don't want to put anyone in that awkward position of, hey, I'm getting rid of this, sock with holes in it, but it has great memories. Do you want it? Like, I don't want to put anyone in that position to take things out of guilt. So that's why sometimes I just like to donate stuff, unless I know it's something that someone might really love. If it's a really nice purse or a piece of jewelry that they have admired in the past, I might offer it to them. But yeah, I think the most important thing there, Mama, is that the memory doesn't go with the item. The memory stays. So if it's not usable, but it has a lot of memories attached to it, the memories stay with you. You don't need to keep that item. So that's what I got to say about that. Kathy, send it with love, that someone else will love it as much as you. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes a photo of it too, to keep the memory. Yeah, you can take a picture of it. Yeah, Annie, if you're keeping it out of guilt, then the item is actually an energy drain. It's not at all anything that is fulfilling or adding value to your life. It's actually removing value from your life. So keeping something out of guilt, whether someone gave it to you or it reminds you of someone, that person who gave it to you never intended to wrap up a bunch of guilt with it when they gave it to you. And if they knew that you were keeping it out of guilt, they would want nothing more than for you to get rid of it. Or if it's something that reminds you of someone and you feel guilty getting rid of it because it feels like disrespectful to the person, I guarantee you that person would never want you to keep something out of guilt. They would want you to get rid of it. So it's a real act of self-love and self-care to eliminate anything in your life that you're keeping out of guilt, as much as you can. It's you open up the opportunity for life to be so much more full and fulfilling, because you're not looking around your house and going, oh yeah, there's that thing I kind of don't really want, but I feel guilty getting rid of it. So let the clutter game give you permission to get rid of those things, because you have to come up with 5 things today. So maybe that's one of your 5 things. Got it. All right, all. Thank you so much for joining me this week. We had great convos this time. Lots of sharing. Love it. Yeah. So get to clearing. Fill that box. Take some pictures of your donation box. Let's see it filling up. Clear that clutter, because man, when you open up that space, it is amazing what comes your way. It's awesome. So good talking with you all. I look forward to talking to you again next week, same time, same place. And again, feel free to email me, share on my Facebook wall how your clutter clearing game is going. All right, have a good week, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.